Ain't this some bullshit?
Hey, this is Mr. Griffin, and welcome to the now revived Ain't This Some Bullshit? And a few months ago, and a few weeks ago, and I meant this, I no longer call Bill Cosby innocent. I mean, because, let's face it, this man did something. It still hasn't really been proven what, but he did something to some of these women. But what I'm about to say in this rant is exactly why I cannot go totally anti-Cosby. Because to me, this crap is all about destroying the legacy, and it's about money. Now, I often thought this even early on, as soon as Gloria Allred got involved. And in case you don't know, 3 more women have come forward saying Bill Cosby sexually assaulted them. And this is my thing. They're all running to Gloria Allred and popping up 3 more. Now, if it had been like 4 or 5 women, believe it or not, I would have been more inclined to believe them and listen to them. But 35, 40, I'm sorry. And people can keep using the excuse, well, he was in Hollywood. Oh, he had all that power and shit. I'm sorry. I said it before, and I will say it again until my grave. No black man in America has that much motherfucking power. I'm sorry. No black man in America has that much motherfucking power that he can get away. Most black people, there's been black people in America that have been killed for looking at a white woman. Allegedly, Emmett Till, I know this is going way back, he was killed for just allegedly winking at a white woman. And he was killed. You think a black man in America especially is going to get away with raping that many? Yeah, I know there's a few race women mixed in there and stuff. And I know there's people like Michelle Hurd and Beverly Johnson, who Beverly Johnson I don't believe. Michelle Hurd is the only one I kind of would believe. Her story sounds plausible, but at the same time, why would you go to Facebook to talk about it? Why wouldn't you go, oh, I don't know, the police? Anyway, nobody's that. Even President Barack Obama couldn't get away with all that. And somebody don't roll on him? Come on. And then you got that 15-year-old that, well, she's not 15 now, but at the time she said in the 70s, Bill Cosby raped me at the Playboy Mansion. First of all, what is a 15-year-old doing up at the Playboy Mansion to begin with? And second of all, and I have maintained this, even after I've gone from saying Bill Cosby is innocent to, Bill Cosby did something. But even after taking that stance, I will say, why hasn't Hugh Hefner been brought up in all this? People might say, well, Hugh Hefner didn't do it. I said, yeah, but it was still his crib. It was still on his property. Why hasn't he been brought up on charges? I'm sorry. If a rape, even if I wasn't the one that did it, if a rape happened in my crib, they're going to at least question my ass. And I'm going to at least be questioned by them. I don't even think Hugh Hefner's ever even been questioned. I mean, come on. And what is a 15-year-old doing up at the Playboy Mansion anyway? What the fuck? I mean, I would assume, I mean, I know the Playboy Mansion's got scantily clad women walking around practically naked, but I assume they're at least 18 or older. What is a 15-year-old doing up in there anyway? And the fact 3 more women, I've just gotten real sarcastic. Like I said, I no longer believe Bill Cosby's innocent, but legally speaking, they have not proven he's a rapist. I'm sorry. I know some of you anti-Cosby people are going to hear this video and going to start talking a bunch of shit. But I'm sorry. They have not proven he's a rapist. At best, they've proven he's sleazy, scumbaggery, definitely. And they've proven he's an adulterer. That is it. They have not proven he's a rapist. They have not proven that he slipped those pills, the Quaaludes, without these women's knowledge, and had them drink and then drugged them up and then did his business on them. They have not proven that. They've only proven at best he's an adulterer, which he is. Now I'll admit that all day long. He cheated on poor Camille. And for those of you that want to call Camille, you know, oh, she's stupid and this and that, let me tell you something. If that woman, dumb or not, decides to stand by that man, that's her business. Leave them alone. If she decides to divorce him one day, hey, so be it. Just leave them alone. Some of y'all didn't go after Hillary Clinton like this. And she stuck by Bill after Bill got his dick sucked in the White House. I mean, it's getting almost comical. This is almost reality TV level. And quite frankly, some of these women, I would love to hook a lie detector test to some of these women, because no way he raped all 35 or 40 of these women. How many it is, there is no way. Now, if he just did it to even one, he's a rapist, okay? If they prove that beyond the shadow, I will come on here and say Bill Cosby's a rapist. But all four, oh, hell no. And I'm sorry, the three main ones that people try to prop up to be, say, well, Beverly Johnson has no reason to lie. She got money. Beverly Johnson has lied on at least 2 dudes. Do your homework. So why should I believe that she did anything? If anything, I'd be willing to bet Bill Cosby was tapping that voluntarily. Plus, what woman is going to have the personal phone number of Bill Cosby knowing that his wife could pick up? Okay, and if she really was sexually assaulted by Bill Cosby, that's the one I'd be telling. I'd be like, Mrs. Cosby, I'm sorry to disturb you, but you need to have a talk with your husband. Your husband tried to drug and rape me. I mean, that's what most women I know would have did if they didn't go to the police. That's the next. Actually, that'd be even worse for some men. For some men, they'd rather you call the police. But seriously, and Janice Dickinson, I never believed her. She's another one that has lied on at least a couple of dudes in Hollywood. And they've proven she's a liar. So those two I don't believe. And I don't believe the one that said Bill Cosby forced her to give him a blowjob at Johnny Carson's green room. I mean, back in the 60s too. All she would have to holler was, Bill Cosby forced me to give him a blowjob. He'd have been hanging from a tree somewhere. Or you'd have found his body burnt out in the woods. You'd have found him sodomized and hanging from a tree somewhere. 60s and 70s, oh hell no. I mean, it was racially charged. It's racially charged nowadays, but it was racially charged back then too. They would have found that motherfucker hung somewhere. You wouldn't have never saw the Cosby Show. You wouldn't even have saw the Bill Cosby Show in the 70s. You wouldn't have saw Fat Albert. You would have never saw Picture Pages. You wouldn't have saw Jello Pudding Pops. You would have never saw them crazy dances he used to do on the Cosby Show. You never saw Different World. You never saw none of that, because his ass would have been dead. And that's just real. So her, I don't believe either. The rest of them, I'd be willing to listen, but most of their stories just don't add up. And they keep finding these women and finding these women. I think these women are being paid. Now, do I think Bill Cosby is innocent? Absolutely not. He definitely fucked some of these women. Now, whether he did it under the influence of drugs, or whether they gave him, he promised them something, and they gave up the ass willingly, and then later he reneged, and now they back for revenge. But this ain't about justice for those women. The powers that be, or whoever's putting this up or putting this stuff out on Bill Cosby, because let's be honest, Bill Cosby has made a lot of enemies over the years. Both personally, I'm sure, but definitely professionally. Because, like, for example, The Cosby Show. Originally, Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable wasn't supposed to be a doctor. Heathcliff Huxtable was going to be a garbage man, while Claire was a homemaker. Bill Cosby was like, fuck you, this is my show. Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable is going to be a doctor. And he fought to get the Claire role, played by Felicia Rashad, he fought to get her to be a lawyer. And he got it because at the time, NBC was pretty much on its ass. It was about to go under. So they really didn't have much power or choice, but he ruffled a lot of feathers doing that. Same thing with A Different World. He ruffled a lot of feathers because if the powers that be would have had their way, Different World wouldn't have lasted 5 seasons. It would have got pulled after about season 2 or 3 because, especially with some of the content that they was tackling, this did not sit well at all. They finally got it off the air after season 5 because Bill Cosby was no longer there with The Cosby Show, and they didn't have that big backer to back them up. But that's a whole nother story, and you can look up the Unsung Hollywood episode on A Different World on that. I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere, or it's out there somewhere where you can find and watch it. But anyway, he's ruffled a lot of feathers. You know, everybody knows about he tried to buy NBC in the back in the 90s, and many believe that's what led to his son being killed, because that was kind of like a warning to him. Which I always maintain, Bill Cosby, if he wanted to buy it, he shouldn't have tried to buy it alone. He should have gotten with a lot of like-minded, preferably like-minded people, within the black community who also had influence and money, and they should have bought it together. Or they shouldn't even try to buy NBC. They should have just pooled their resources and their knowledge and create their own network. And something away from BET too, because BET has been trash ever since Viacom got a hold of it, but that's another story. So he's made a lot of enemies personally over the years. Then of course that whole pound cake speech did not help matters to the point where the black community pretty much distanced themselves with Bill Cosby. So when this happened, and you could argue that Bill set himself up when this happened, most black people was like, fuck Bill Cosby. But most of it had nothing to do with the allegation, because most black people, even the ones that say Bill Cosby did it, they don't really believe he did it. But they're mad because of that, either that pound cake speech or even early on. Some are even holding a grudge because of the Cosby Show, because they felt it was not a realistic interpretation of black people, which I was never a huge fan of the Cosby Show. I was more of a fan of A Different World, its spinoff show. But I have to argue that one. And I don't want to take long on this topic, but on a side note, I have to argue that one because I'm like, okay, not every black person comes from the ghetto. Not every black person struggles. Some did work their way up to middle class, and even upper middle class, and even 1%er privilege. So the hate on Cosby Show for showing a different perspective on black people and a black family in America, I'm like, that's wrong, in my opinion. That to me is wrong. I mean, not every show is going to be The Jeffersons or Good Times. Not every show with black people has to be Martin, okay? I mean, that's just, it's kind of like with rap music. A lot of youngsters now, if you try to do a good, clean rap song, they think you ain't real. And they don't realize is not everybody's going to be NWA. Not everybody's going to be Lil Wayne. Not everybody's going to be Tupac. Not everybody's going to be Biggie. There's nothing wrong with a good Will Smith, or as he was known back in the day, the Fresh Prince song. You know, nothing was wrong with Dougie Fresh back in the day, because most of his stuff was fun. Or Houdini. Or Run DMC. But that's a whole nother topic altogether. Bottom line is, when I saw this report about 3 more women coming out on Bill Cosby, I thought to myself, they are really trying to bury this guy. And while I do believe Bill Cosby is guilty of something, I will also say by law, they have not proven he's a rapist. And this whole thing about the admission about using quaaludes for sex was some kind of confession. That's not a confession. He didn't say he raped any of these women. He just said he used the drugs for the sex. So we don't really still know. But I do think is, even if any of these women were raped, this ain't about whether they were raped or not. I don't think they could give a fuck less. This is about taking down Bill Cosby and burying him for good. That's what this is about. This is about his legacy. This is about his estate. And guarantee you, if that man drops dead today, by what I'm saying, while I am making this video, if he drops dead today, guarantee you, Gloria Allred and whoever's paying her, because I guarantee she's not doing this for free, Gloria Allred will turn around and sue Cosby's estate and try to take that money away from that family, even though that family had nothing to do with what Bill may or may not have done. You watch. This ain't about putting Bill Cosby in jail. This is about smearing his name, and this is about destroying the legacy, and this is about money. Because if they were really, because many of these cases were out there long before now. These were coming up in the 80s and 90s. They came up in the 80s, then they came up in the 90s. They came up even in the 2000s. The first decade of the 2000s, they came up. If they really want this man in jail, they could have got him in jail a long time ago. This ain't about that. This is about destroying a legacy. This is about getting that money. And that's what this is about. While I am no longer a supporter of Bill Cosby, I will no longer say he is innocent. I'm not stupid enough to believe this is about justice for these women that were violated. Anybody that believes that is a damn fool. Or better yet, anybody that believes this is about justice or getting justice for these women, I just have to look at you and say, ain't that some bullshit? Because that's exactly what it is. Bullshit. This is about getting that money. This is about destroying that legacy. Because I guarantee you, Gloria Allred, who already has a reputation of being an ambulance chaser anyway, this is about money. This ain't about getting rid of him, because if they really want to get him, they could have got him years ago. Anyway, that's my rant for this edition of Ain't This Some Bullshit? And I am going to put this one on both Mr. Griffith Arises and the channel you're watching it on, Mr. Griffin. So whichever one you're watching it on, cool. I'm out. I'm Mr. Irvin Griffin. Have a nice day, folks.